physics and the people who won the Nobel Prizes.
Nothing.
Folks who sequenced the Neanderthal genome and stuff like that.
How old were you when you worked out that it wasn't Nobel, that it was Nobel? Like, because I was like maybe 15. I was embarrassing myself.
Who won the Nobel Prizes.
Nothing.
Folks who sequenced the Neanderthal
All right,
genome.
so there we go.
Like
We're all systems go. Hello, everybody.
People who won the Nobel. We are going to be talking about Stormwreck Isle tonight, and I'm here with my good buddy Matt Perkins.
Hey, what's up? How you going? My name's Matty P. Good to see you. Zip, thank you very much for having me. Oh, I'm excited. Hey, can I get an audio test from everybody? How do we sound? How's my volume? How's the music? How's Zip's volume?
Yeah, all that stuff that's really important to have a good stream, but it's really hard to test on our end. Okay. So I'm sure someone in chat will let us know, but I invited you on because you are doing a series on YouTube about Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, right?
Yeah, man. Whole thing. We're doing like 10 videos about it, and we're on video number 3. So I'm going to cover like the whole thing, like location by location, concept by concept, encounter by encounter. And at the moment, I'm up to, in my coverage, I just talked about, hey, let's take the hook from the adventure and replace it with something that's more relevant. Aiden says the audio is good. Thank you, Aiden. Great job. You're my favorite chatter.
All right. And so I've ran this adventure one time, right? Like the weekend it came out in the United States. I went and picked it up at Target, and I ran it that very next weekend. We did like a speed run of the adventure. We got it all done in 2 6-hour sessions. And then I started working on my video series.
It took me about 12 hours as well. I think it's a 12-hour game. Yeah. That's cool.
So how did you run it? Like, tell me your experience.
What I did is I ran it. So I'm in Victoria in Australia. So I actually had to get a mate in the US to head to Target, pick it up, and then post it to me, and then I ran it. So over the course of a month, I ran. Yeah, it is. Well, it's our job. I can't head down to the shop and get it. So my first experience being frustrated at this Target exclusivity deal. But I ran it twice in a month, and I was running it for 2 groups in tandem. The first group, I ran it by the book, and I even said to them at the start, I said, guys, I'm not going to adjust anything from the book. You are going to experience this raw, and I want you to give me feedback of what you hate, what you don't, what you like, etc. And the other group, I ran with modifications from that first group. This is like a kind of experiment and control idea. And I think it was a good idea in practice. But what ended up happening is naturally, you see stuff that you don't want to do in the book and you go, no, I will adjust that. So even on my control, I ended up like adjusting a bunch of stuff.
I had the exact same experience because that was my goal, right? Like, okay, I want to run this as much by the book as possible because when I start, talking about and giving recommendations, I want it to be about a general, widely applicable experience, not some custom bespoke version. But, again, like I saw some things like, I have to make some just minor adjustments. So, maybe we can talk about that as we go through, like what minor adjustments that we each made and then what you did on your second go through. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, that sounds great. Can I point something out quickly about the stream?
Yeah.
Nobody can see my beautiful face. They don't know how good my hat is.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How about now?
Guys, I don't know, maybe. Let me see. Clicking buttons.
It should be circling back and forth between the two of us. Yes, I think this is going to be working now. Well, thank you everybody for letting us know.
Oh no, it was me. I noticed. I thought I put on a yellow shirt and a yellow hat, and I want people to know that I'm matchy. I was just double checking. Yeah. So you wanted to talk about the changes that we made. Do you want to do it like chronologically, like?
Yeah. I got this little slideshow set up about that goes through the adventure section by section. All right. So first, this is my little craft setup. How did you? Maybe we could talk about that physicality. Like, how did you actually run it? Do you have miniatures? Were you using theater of the mind online? Like, what was your setup?
I can show you. One sec. Let me grab it.
Yeah, totally. Oh, this is exciting, folks.
You cover the air.
So for everyone in chat, like this is my little crafting setup. It cost me $20. I have a video on my YouTube channel. Maybe like 3 or 4 hours.
I was running hand-drawn battle maps. using this see-through battle grid that I would just slot over the paper. So I was just drawing stuff before the session and then just putting this over the top. And if the battle map changed at all, like we destroyed some terrain, you can use a whiteboard marker just to scribble on it and change stuff. So I was literally just drawing battle maps like the morning of, got some markers, and it's just like a fun exercise to like, steel your nerves and just do something kinetic with your hands. And I don't use miniatures, I just use little generic tokens with like letters and stuff on them and numbers. So that's mainly what we were doing. I don't think I made many handouts for this. There's a lot of potions in this adventure, so I did go out and buy some of those, potion bottles with the D4s inside. So that was a prop that got a lot of use. And then I also had some fake, fantasy coins that I was giving out as loot. But that ended up falling by the wayside because I got sick of counting out little fake coins. What about you? What was your handouts and stuff?
So I got the little tokens right here made of glass beads and paint. The handouts, I have these magic item cards. They're edged in gold. They're just index cards with some doodles on them. I made handouts for all the NPCs. And then I did handouts, one of the map of the island and then one of the map of the Abbey, because those are the places I wanted the players to actually explore.
Oh, you did it. Wait. Map of the island, like the broader area, and then a map of the when you say Abbey, do you mean like the Temple to Bahamut, the cloister?
Yeah. That has like, okay, here's the dock, here are the individual cells, here's the kitchen, here's the library. So I wanted to like give them some sense of orientation when they're hanging out at the cloister. That's
such an interesting thing because like when I think about this, when I ran it and if I would run it again, I think that's the one area that I 100% wouldn't map out. I think
why is that?
Because I don't want to accidentally make the location more important than it is. You know what I mean? I wanted it just to feel loosey-goosey and safe. And I remember that one story that Matt Colville said, 3 years ago, where he put down a battle map and accidentally communicated to the players that it was a combat scenario, and they took, non-optimal tactics and ended up getting themselves killed. I'm not suggesting that you've put down a battle map. I'm just saying that I don't know. I just feel there's utility in keeping that area as loose as possible.
That's an interesting perspective. Thanks for sharing.
That's it. I still did have all the same locations that you did. You know what I mean? Even though I had that freedom, I just did what you did, but like imagination.
Yeah. I think my reasoning was I wanted them to feel like they were walking around and poking and exploring. So I felt like the Abbey was more of a secure, concrete place that they could care about and like feel connected to.
That's fair enough. Yeah. What about, did you also drew battle maps for the dungeons, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, sick.
All right, so let's go ahead and so yeah, here's the stuff. What did you think of the pre-gen characters, of the choices that were offered?
I would say that, like, as far as the party goes, it was a more interesting party than comparing to the other starter set. But are they good enough characters as far as their backstory and stuff goes for me to go, yeah, I'm excited to run this character? No, they're like not particularly cohesive. Some of the backstories have like cliches in a bad way, or like so vague of the paladin saying, I'm going to go to Dragon's Rest to meditate on my personhood or something. And the fighter saying, I'm going to Dragon's Rest to work out what my destiny is. And I just want to shake that character and go, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want, character? Like, the rogue is chasing down someone that he thinks has a whole bunch of money hidden away. That's exciting. Why don't you guys have motivations like that? So I personally scrap all of the pre-gens except like the mechanical math side. What do you think of the pre-gens?
That's interesting because I do like the fact that two of them have like real mechanical hooks, like, oh, I'm looking for gold, or I'm looking to stop the threat from this island, or I'm looking for the observatory. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they had two characters had emotional journeys, like their goals were like emotional arcs.
Boo feelings.
I thought that was cool. But I will admit, in practice, it didn't exactly work out that way. I think like the player's like, oh, I'm getting a destiny. my destiny is we're going to go to the ship and a character's going to die. I'm a failure.
Oh my goodness. Look, in my latest video that I just published today, I was talking about this stuff. And one thing that I was worried about is that if you used all 5 of these characters, as I'm presuming you did, sometimes given enough time with the attrition of memory, the players eventually would go, wait, why are we on this island? Did you have that moment or not?
No, but I think it's because I prep talked to players, right? Like I told them ahead of time, okay, we're gonna try to speedrun this adventure. I'm counting on you to play along, right? Okay.
And if you did it in 2 sessions as well, that's like, there's fewer days in between for real life to get in the way of their imagination there. And
we did like Saturday, Sunday night, right? Like, bam,
easy. Wow. That's the dream.
That's probably an atypical experience. Like when you mentioned that in your video, I thought that was a good point. And that's probably my biggest criticism of this adventure overall, is that there's not a really strong overarching story, overarching like draw.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So did that kind of personal quest, that didn't play out at your table?
Not as much as I would have liked, right? Yeah, it didn't. Like I tried to, but like it didn't really happen. I thought it was an interesting pool on Wizard's part. Like I thought that was a cool thing to try to include, but maybe it didn't really work out.
What about the most direct quest is the rogue saying, I've heard a rumor that some fool has a bunch of money on this island and I'm gonna go get it. That's the most direct storyline there. Did that one have any action with Tarek, the poisoner, or nah?
Yo, that's another big criticism I have of this adventure. Is because that rogue story isn't being a dud, right? It's a dead end. The poisoner, the rumor about lost treasure is not a rumor at all. It's just a misunderstanding. And that's a big missed opportunity, right? Like the treasure could have been another poisoner on the island. And that's, if I was going to make a change, that's one change I would definitely make. The rogue's rumor is true, but it's not about the guy at the Abbey. It's about some other body somewhere else, and the treasure becomes the Blue Dragon's hoard at the end.
You know, this really reminds me. So I watch a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, the drag race competition, and a big thing in that competition is the drag queens want to do reveals. I'm wearing this dress, but then I pull this seam and it reveals another dress, and the spectacle's really exciting. But like for some reason in recent seasons, what they're doing is they're wearing a crap dress, and then they do a reveal to like a worse dress, you know? And so that's what it feels like they're doing with the rogue, where they wanted to do this twist, this reveal, but the reveal was actually worse than the disguise they were wearing, you know?
Yeah. See, they tried to give it a little emotional arc too, because if you read the adventure, it says that, what's his name, Taryn? He suggests that the rogue should give up their criminal ways and stop looking for treasure and become like a good person or something like that. But like, the treasure's way more exciting.
Look, that said, even though the reveal isn't as exciting as the lie, I still think Tarek's a cool character, and so is Varna. I think all the NPCs in this, because there's so few of them, and I'm not counting the kobolds because kobolds aren't people, they're really great. You know, they're really lovely, and like overall, I think this adventure has a really good theme that the book doesn't communicate at all, and that theme is redemption. Like all these characters, you know, mismatched, unloved, you know, with sordid pasts, go to this cloister and they're forgiven and they're able to put away their dark past and like, you know thyself. And it's kind of fun that I try and look for opportunities for the players. I kind of wish that the player characters, the NPCs, the pre-gens, I wish they had redemption in their storyline as well more often.
That, you know what, that's a great point. It's a great point. Yeah, so there's my little mini maps that I said I made. So it started out with only the cloister marked on the overworld map, and then as they found the other locations, I put them in.
Yeah, I did something similar.
There's our zombies.
I really like your drawing there. The only difference I did with the island map is that During the first session, I told the players where all of the locations were. I marked it on the map, and then I told them just how far it was in hours if you want to walk between them. And the way it worked out is I had every location was a 2-hour walk, no matter where you were walking. And every location was a 3-hour by boat. And the difference between those is that I gave the boat journey an easier random encounter table. It's like safer.
I see now. Trying to remember how I did the overland travel bit. I think I tried to follow. Oh, sorry, I got a Sexbot. Gotta ban it.
Get out of here, Sexbot. It's not the time.
Stay still, Sexbot. Get out of here. Haha. There we go. All gone.
Got him.
All right. So I only played this with 3 players, and it was freaking hard. Right? Did you play with 4 or 5?
I played one party of 3, one party of 5. They both stomped it.
Really? Yo.
Yeah.
We had 1 death and like 2 or 3 very near death, very near TPKs. Like in this counter, right? A zombie got a crit and KO'd a character, right?
I would think that your death, if I was going to guess where a death would happen in this adventure, it would be either the dragon or the ghoul, just for the paralyze.
Yeah, it was the ghoul and the fire drakes in the cavern that did it, and then the zombie encounter was almost a TPK too.
Yeah, with a small party, those breath weapons, especially when there's 2 fume drakes, just smashing deck saves when you can actually catch the whole party, so scary.
Yeah, and then your zombies, they can keep staying up, right? They can get lots and lots of attacks in, and then just one crit's enough to kill a first level character.
Did you crack it at the zombies at all? Because I got sick of, my players got sick of fighting them, and I got sick of running them. I just started skipping zombie encounters.
So I didn't run the second one, so I didn't probably get sick of it. If I had run the second zombie encounter at the Abbey, I probably would have done it. They can be kind of tedious, right? Because they just come back and they only do one thing. Tiny Play says, I got a recommendation for this stream, but I'm a gamer, so I don't know how this stream is related. Because we are gamers too, but we are gamers in the tabletop space. We are gamers of imagination.
We're nerds of a different
cut. We're talking about D&D. They got ruined by death saves too. The death saves actually saved the characters. That allowed them to come back. The one character got TPK'd. It was an instant kill. Like they had 1 hit point left and they got hit for like 7 or like 10 points of damage or something like that. Just killed him.
Hey, here's something that I noticed in my 3 party. So you played 3 players and they got stomped. I had 3 players and my players did the stomping. My 3-player party, they stacked armor class. Just incidentally, we had a fighter, a paladin, and a cleric. They were all heavy armor users. And this module doesn't know what to do with high AC. Because the only deck saves you're going to get are from the Fume Drakes and from the Dragon at the end. And when one of these games is going to be lethal, it's going to be lethal at level 1. At level 1, who are you fighting? Kobolds, zombies, the octopus. And the real danger is if you go to the caves first and you fight those Fume Drakes. Yeah. You know, that's your deck save. But in general, AC is incredibly powerful in this module.
Yeah, so we got I played with the fighter, the archer fighter, the rogue, and the wizard. So yeah, no healer, no high AC. Well,
fair enough.
We go. All right, so here's the cast of characters for the Abbey, right? I agree with you. I really like the NPCs. I think they did a great job with was it named Taryn, Rhaenyra, and what's her name, Vikram?
It was Tarek, Rhaenyra, and Varnoth.
The only thing I really liked one thing about Varnoth. I liked how you could talk to her about stuff that she likes and it would raise her disposition. I thought that was super cool. Like no charisma check involved, no like rolling of the dice, just you figure out what she's interested in and you spend some time talking to her about that and she likes you more. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, I think it's here's something I really liked about Varnoth. I liked that she had a leg off. I think it was like she was so rad. And there's something about like there's something about those 2 characters that they've lived such lives in that Tarek is covered in like Russian style thieves guild tattoos that tell a story as a poisoner, and Varnoth is a hardened mercenary captain with a leg off. And it was just so interesting having these really powerful characters as far as personality goes. You look at these people and you're like, wow, what respectable people. And just have them be like humble, kind, gentle, patient monks.
Yeah.
It was just super nice. I have something about a question about this character in the middle, Runara. Spoiler warning. In the module, Runara is secretly a big old level 13 dragon. Much more powerful than the party. How does this vibe with you, Zipper on Disney?
Okay, so it was a cool moment, right, when I did the reveal. And, I played it off the whole time that she was, very peaceful. You could just feel like her charisma and personality radiating off of her. And I said that, here's the statue of Bahamut in his human form, and that he could turn into a dragon. And so we did the big reveal. It was foreshadowed at the place, like, I could see that coming, and they got really excited, which made me cool. But in general, yeah, it is kind of a stretch to say there's a super powerful character who's capable of solving all the problems on this island, but it's just going to sit here and do nothing instead. Seem like you risked your lives for no good reason.
Did your party, after the reveal happened, did anybody even make the joke of, okay, well, can you go kill Sparkrender, please? Did they even mention it or not?
Yeah, so they did, and the report I gave was based on the lore in the book, right? That she doesn't want to contribute to more dragon-on-dragon crime or violence on the island.
But I'm happy to close my eyes, and you can go over there and do it for me. Like, come on.
Yeah, that is kind of silly. I think they just that's something they put in there to make the module cool and memorable, but it is definitely a big story hole.
What they've done is they've got this beautiful, massive, powerful bronze adult dragon, and they put her in the module, and then they just put a velvet rope around her. They go, she knows Carrie can't cross the velvet rope. No, see the velvet rope. Like, what are you talking about? It's just it's such flimsy structuring in the story.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think something that I would put in there is like she's bound to the temple, right? She's like not allowed to leave. Like if she leaves, like somehow she'll like age like every second of her like life. Sort of like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So if I were to make an excuse like later on, I'd put that in there, and then I would put that like riddle or that bit of lore in the library in the Abbey.
I can't be sold on Runa. I am poisoned against this character. But
you just run her like a normal monk, right?
I just run her as a nice lady, a nice old lady, and like the players might presume she's powerful. I would actually give her the stats of a commoner. This is a place of humility and redemption and respect. I just feel better about the character in that way. And I think I would even have her like as a random encounter. They just meet Runara walking out there in the past, gone for a walk around the island. Unafraid and happy to walk the island, even as a commoner. I think I don't know. I feel a lot better about the character if she's not powerful. I don't know why.
No, it totally makes sense. Like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, and it's totally valid. If I were to run this again, I might do that. I might keep her as a dragon. I'm not really passionate one way or the other.
I've got something to say about kobolds to you though. In the module, there are 9 kobolds. I am a strong proponent. I reckon there should be 7, because Bahamut, in his human form, has 7 birds flying around him that protect him. They're gold dragons in disguise. There should be 7 kobolds here, and then you can do the 7 dwarves. You can actually just have Sleepy, Grumpy, Doc, or the rest of them. How did you do the kobolds?
So I agree that 9 kobolds is too many, especially for a new DM. Like, even though in the adventure they say, just use them for one-liners, I still think that's kind of a lot to throw at somebody. I had 3 kobolds, right? Yeah. I consolidated their personalities down. I had the old pious kobold, I had the mischievous kobold, and then I had Mila. Yeah.
That's fair enough.
And that worked out well, because in each kobold, this guy can tell you about the shipwreck, or their other way around. This one tells you the shipwreck, this one tells you about the cave. and this one will tell you about the observatory. Well, maybe
Mm-hmm.
she can tell you about the observatory. That is something I could probably criticize about the module, is these dragons would know something about Adrian, right? The brass dragon that disappeared.
Yeah.
But the module doesn't say anything about that. Like, all these people would be aware of that fact.
Yeah, and do you know what? It would probably be like a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Like it would actually probably be the biggest deal. It might be the first thing they say. It's like, hey, have you seen a dragon around here? We have lost a dragon. In my edit to the campaign, I restructure the whole story so that the players are on a mission to find I call him Lord Adron. I actually don't know how it's spelt in the book, but this is just how I internalized the word in my head. The point of the story is to go find this bronze dragon. So, I don't know, I feel like that's more direct, because that's the culmination. At the end, we find Lord Adron captive in this tower. I don't want that to be a surprise, you know?
Yeah. I see. I think another change that I would make is, remember I thought it was really cool how you can raise, what's her name? Viren's disposition. Like, she can start, she goes from different to friendly. Well, that doesn't have any consequences, right? There's nothing in the module that says, like, what happens if that happens.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, she can tell you about Lord Adrian. She can say, well, before you got here, this happened. Now that I trust you more. Something like that.
The module really wants you to lean into that disposition stuff. They do the same with the Myconids, and they go like, it puts a lot of effort, now that I think about it, into stressing the difference between hostile, indifferent, and friendly. And it really wants the Dungeon Master to understand those words and how they play out at the table. But like,
yeah,
I don't really think in those terms. I don't know.
I kind of like it.
Okay.
I like that it sort of encourages you to think that you can take these people and then through your actions you can change how they will respond. And I think putting the little mechanics on that is going to be helpful for newer DMs, especially if they says, okay, well, here's something you can do to make this happen. I wish they maybe include some more guidance, like this is not the only way, or you can maybe ignore these rules and just go by your gut. But that's, maybe a minor criticism.
Yeah, and they could get that word count back to fit those rules in by cutting 5 kobolds.
All right, so Sunshine Windlord, maybe it's me, but the age of the dragon is an advantage. Yes, you know what? That's right. When dragons do get older, they get more powerful. I was just thinking of that scene from the movie that she happened to leave the temple, she'd wither away. Nacho Man. Hey, folks. Hey, you Nacho Man. Love nachos. I'm also So one more thing before we leave these NPCs, just because I love them so much. What are some things that your player characters did when interacting with these NPCs? Or how did you make them seem like real people when you're actually running the adventure?
Let me have a think about that. So I treat these NPCs as like clay. And during character creation, I reshape these NPCs to fit the party. So for example, one of the players in my 5-player campaign, for a joke, he was trying to make the edgiest character that he could, in the sense that he went like, I'm from like I'm a Shadow Kai from the Fey Shadow or something, and I was cursed by a witch and all this kind of stuff. And he goes, and maybe I'm a werewolf. I'm like, yeah, man, you can be a werewolf. That's fine. And so when he said that, I went, okay, cool. Varnoth is a werewolf now, and so they could connect that. Or with Tarek. One of the other players in the other campaign was playing a fisherman that was like he was like a real peasant. So I went, okay, instead of being a Thieves Guild person, Tarek is like a fisherman, like a pirate kind of person. And like, so as far as like how did the players connect with these NPCs, what I did is I made the NPCs connect with the players, if you know what I mean.
I like that. Mason Ray, 2 of my favorite channels together. This is awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So let's see now. Something that I did is I made Taryn the chef, right? He was a poisoner, now uses his skills to cook. Mm-hmm. And so I used, remember the old Russian mobster from Orange is the New Black?
Yeah.
So I use like all of her lines, like you have to crush the spinach and make it bleed out to get the flavor, like all those little things. And Viram, I had her like mopping the floors in the Abbey, but then she would like stop and like do like kung fu moves with like the broom, and the players like caught her doing that. So, like even with her prosthetic, she's still like a badass.
That's really cool. That's a cool move here. I'll steal that for sure. I like that idea. One moment
that you can steal maybe before I get it done. I want to make like a chores list for the Abbey, like a D12 chores list. So every night the players stay there, they have to contribute to the housework.
That's great. I actually love that idea so much that I would steal it, but I think you should have it because that's a really good idea.
All right, so if I put it on my Patreon, I'll also send it to you and you can publish on yours. People can double
dip. Yeah, double dip.
All right, yeah, so here we go. Here's my little setup at the Abbey again, real fast. There's so much more I want to get talked to. So I just use like really, really cheap, these are popsicle sticks I just painted to give the impression of stone building.
That's great.
And then the first place we went to was the pirate ship, which I thought was my favorite dungeon. I thought this was the highlight of the adventure.
Yeah, dude, that is definitely the better dungeon of the two. But it's so weird because, like, if I think about the dungeon in terms of like the fights you get to have there, it's not that great. But it's just exciting because the lore is thick and I'm excited to do it, you know?
Yeah. You know what? You're right. The fights there are just two zombies and then the ghoul, right?
And then the harpy, yeah.
And then the harpy. The harpy is kind of a fun encounter.
Really?
So
it
here's
sucked
the place I made.
For me.
Oh man! So here's a place I made one more change to the adventure. Right? One of the 3 changes that I made when I actually ran it. I thought the fact that there was a captain's quarters but no captain pirate was kind of silly.
Yeah.
And I remember that there's a +1 weapon, but you don't get it until the very end of the adventure.
Yeah.
So I took the +1 weapon and I gave it to one of the zombies and made him the zombie pirate captain.
Avast ye with his +1 cutlass. That's good.
Yes, exactly. There, you watched the video, you know.
I actually didn't watch that, but I didn't watch that bit.
Oh, that's exactly what I gave. He has a +1 cutlass, and that was perfect for the
thief.
Oh,
sick! Awesome.
Yeah, so there's the zombie fight. What did you like about this dungeon? Like, I have my favorite bits, but you said you like the lore.
It's just the lore. The idea that, for those that haven't read this, what happens is there was a woman on this boat named Aletha, and as the boat was sinking, she was praying, look, hey, whoever I'm praying to, I just need to get to the island to drop this charm at my husband's grave. I would do anything to get there, please, please, please. And her prayer is answered by Orcus, the demon undead god of spooky death and undeath. And he said, absolutely, I will make sure that you get to that island. And then everyone from this ship, when they died, came back as zombies and undead. And, you know, it's kind of like a cruel genie wish trick. And that's just such a really, it's a genuinely great idea. Like if I read that in a book, I would be excited for it. The difference is, my criticism here is that if the players just rock up to this boat and all that lore has already happened, they don't get to experience it, they get to read about it. And reading about it's good, but I want them to experience it. So the way I change it is I actually have the players sail to this place. In the very prologue of the adventure, they sail to the island on the compass rose. And then the harpy attacks the ship. They see Lord Adron and they see Sparkrender fighting in the distance. It's a massive storm. We run a huge skill challenge. As part of the skill challenge, one of the players sees Aletha make this pact and sees a dark force answer her prayer. So they immediately know when they come to this boat, or when it comes to someone like Varnos saying, hey, all of these zombies, they weren't here before you arrived. We think you're responsible. There's something on your boat that is messing up our island, and it is your duty to take care of it. When they go to the boat, at least one of the players knows, hey, we saw Aletha with these beads. So they actually go in there having a goal, rather than their goal being, we're going to go to the spooky boat.
Yeah, you're right, because in the adventure as written, there's a couple things that's kind of weird. Like this compass rose crashed 40 years ago.
Yes.
But the zombies are just now washing up, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Is that how you read it? I thought the zombies were like a constant. I might be wrong.
Like every time the ship crashes there, they get more zombies are made.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, that could be it. Yeah, you're right. The Harpies are luring more ships there. But you know what? Yeah, because I didn't run it that way, because then I would have put more zombies in the other ships, not just this one.
Yeah, but it's tricky. There is one bit of signposting that I found really helpful around these zombies, is that I didn't want the zombies only to be from their ship. So I made sure to describe some zombies as really old and some zombies as really new. I actually can't remember my reasoning. I don't remember why, but I remember at the time thinking it's really important to me that the players know that there are different kinds of zombies.
Yes, I did the same thing. Now I'm thinking of it. I had them in 2 different uniforms, like red uniforms and black uniforms. I'm trying to remember.
Do you know why? It feels important,
JB
right?
Peter is here. Oh, thank you for stopping by. I really like you're a big inspiration for me. He also does has a really cool channel on how to make on the drawing maps.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna click follow on JP Cooper, but apparently I can't click on a name in the chat.
It's a good opening, adds more good motivation for the story. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of them being on the ship when they get there. So something else I was thinking about after I ran this adventure, if I was going to run it again, this might be another opportunity for the Star Killer Comet. So at the end of the adventure, there's a blue dragon wormling who is going to summon the power of this comet that's going to pass overhead and then raise up all the dead dragons in the island and get their power. But you learn nothing about that until the very last part of the adventure. So I thought like maybe something we can do is in the captain's like star log or something, like in his journal, there'd be like a chart of the stars that could track this comet coming. And maybe that was what's causing the zombies to finally rise after 40 years. That could be a possible change.
I'm going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. I am the most direct dungeon master you'll ever play with. I will just tell the players what's happening. And the way that takes shape in this adventure is at the start of the story. And remember, we're starting the story with a shipwreck. I say, players, we are playing this campaign over the course of 2 days. This whole story takes place over 48 hours. We are currently on day 1, the day the compass rose sinks. We're going to end on day 2, the crossing of the King Killer Star, when Sparkrender's ritual will be complete. I tell them that immediately. They don't get any context of what that means, but my dog, oh woof, it sounds bad, right? Yeah. It sounds like something you don't want to happen. So I feel that like when I do that right at the start of the campaign, and it's only a 4-session campaign for me, I've immediately front-loaded the threat. And even though it doesn't give any context, it feels like it does.
No, I like that. It's a very it's something you would see in a movie, right? Like they usually show the end first and then you work your way towards that. I've done that in one-shots to some success. Like you show them like a little like vignette at the end and then you work your way towards it. I think it's cool.
Can I hit you with a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, we're the players. What up? We're trying to stop the ritual. Hey, Dungeon Master, what happens if we don't succeed? Because the book doesn't give an answer to what if Sparkrender wins? What did you do? What did you have in mind?
So I had in mind that they would summon a Draco Lich.
Okay. Now, so that's also you saying, oh, the party dies.
Yeah, I would say that Sparkrender, like he assumes the form of a Draco Lich and then just wreaks havoc on the island. And then what would happen in that case is, or if he succeeds, I would have him summon a Draco Lich, and then Runar would have to get involved, and she would fight the Draco Lich. Meanwhile, the players are fighting Sparkrender. For like the new finale. Or maybe give him the stats of a young blue dragon instead of the dragon wormling, and have to fight that form.
That's me. That's what I did. Except instead of going young blue dragon wormling or young blue dragon, that's CR7. I would have said I was going to give it the stats of a young green dragon and just re-flavor it as lightning. I was just going to have it rock down to Dragon's Rest and start killing beloved NPCs and happy dappy kobolds as the players watch the consequences.
I didn't give you if he succeeds clause in the adventure, so I went into there like thinking like a couple of different scenarios, and then I would just go with my gut. But I didn't want to have to do that because I was trying to follow the adventure as written. Luckily, they didn't get to that place.
Isn't it so funny that we both went in with the instinct of, oh, we're YouTubers and we want to test the adventure as written, and immediately be like, nah, I don't think so. This is going to be both of us.
Oh yeah, like you. Okay, so this is the point that I'm making my upcoming video, that even if you try to run it completely as written, you would never be able to do that because players can do unexpected things, right? They're always going to go off script, no matter what.
I'll take that even one step further. I'll say that even if I wrote this module as perfect as I think I could, I still wouldn't even run it as written. You know what I mean? Like, why would I?
Oh, man. Yeah, so here's the last map of the thing. I did the maps like stacked on top of each other. So you could go like down into the ship.
That's great. I really like I like a layered tiered map like this. That's another thing I liked about this dungeon. One of my players actually spent an afternoon making the boat out of like popsicle sticks, and it was actually a 3D model that could come out in 3 pieces.
That's so cool.
I'm going to try and borrow it for a video. But I have a question about this. How did you feel? You did the harpy fight at level 1. How did you feel about the balance of the harpy fight at level 1?
They chased the harpies off.
So
I told them that I did a short on this. I told them that they came out really, really weak, right? That the harpy looked strong, would probably kill them if they tried to fight it.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty explicit that this is a situation I have to negotiate or try to find a way beyond just strict combat.
Okay. Because both of my groups embarrassed the harpy so badly that the harpy uninstalled the game afterwards. It like cried itself to sleep.
They just ripped the harpy?
Yeah, completely destroyed it. Because one group, the group of 3, was stacking AC. The harpy couldn't hit them to the point where I was like, okay, and they all succeeded their save against the voice thing. So I was like, okay, the harpy's going to try and just grab you and drop you from 50 feet, you know? Couldn't do that. I gave the players the idea to grab the harpy. One of them crash tackled it into the water and fought it until it suffocated underneath the water. It was genuinely a crime.
Oh, man. So if you see here, I start out with the green, the blue, and the yellow token. Now I'm down to the green, the blue, and the red, because this is after a character already died. Right? So the wizard already died. The rogue and the fighter were like at 2 hit points each.
Yeah.
And then so they came up there, the harpy was going to kill them. So they figured out how to throw some oil up there and then, shoot a candle with some arrows and chase the harpy off that way.
Which do you think was more mechanically a challenge for your party, or like more mechanically a threat? The harpy or the ghoul fight?
Oh man. Probably the ghoul, because it's the ghoul and the zombie, and the ghoul can paralyze. Right?
Does that feel correct to you, or does that feel incorrect?
Oh, I don't know. This is probably just based on my personal experience, right? The very first module I ever played was Eye of the Minotaur, a 2000 or 1999 AD&D adventure. And the final boss is a ghoul. And it says there, a ghoul could kill a first level party. Mm-hmm. So like in my head, ghouls are very, very nasty things. They
are nasty. That paralyzed condition with the inbuilt auto crit is extremely lethal.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's why the harpy returns. It's not there at the start of the module. It has to come back once the characters are already weakened.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
But I think if you're doing this at level 2 and there are 2 harpies, that'd be a lot more fun, right? Because then you can play the harpies off each other. No, not so.
They wrecked that too. I was so disappointed. Just because the harpy's such an interesting stat block. Like you don't get to use a harpy very often, or at least I don't. I've never found an excuse to except this.
Is the Sing DC just too low? Is that the issue?
And also the Sing isn't very good. Like it disables them for a turn. But it's not a good mechanic, because if you increase the DC of the charm, it'll disable the whole party and wipe them, because it's like suddenly it's inflicting a surprise round after round if they keep failing.
Oh yeah, because it's a whole area of effect too. It's not just one character, so then the DC has to be pretty low.
And they could be anywhere on the ship. It's a range of 300 feet.
Yeah.
So I think what we need is just a new harpy stat block for this fight. maybe with what like a single legendary action or something to make it a little bit more scary.
There's something to hit them from a distance while it's flying.
Yeah, I wanted to drop something. I wanted to drop bones or like zombies on them. Like that would be rad.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, attacking from flying at low levels is absolutely lethal, but the Harpy can't do that. You're right. It has to swoop in and then take the OP to leave. Give it the flyby ability. That makes it super dangerous.
That actually would be really dangerous. Because it would be cool if the solution to the Harpy was to, let's not fight that Harpy.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much told my players that, and they figured a way out. Because they have no idea what the stat block does.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
so here we go. We went back to dinner. This is something that you stole. Every night at the Abbey, everyone has dinner together. And you have like a forced roleplay scene.
Yeah, I loved it. I described it as, have you seen that movie Hook with Robin Williams?
Yeah.
You know how they have the imagination dinner? That's how I described it. I'm like, guys, just imagine this and a bunch of kobolds running amok.
I played it out like almost like a big Italian family dinner. Like everyone's like, talking at once.
That's fun.
And then like, they get on their gossip and talking about the day's events. Because there's lots of like little detail to the NPCs and these kobolds that you want to slowly get out there. And so you have to, at least I always feel, you have to purposefully inject opportunities to have that happen.
Yeah, okay, man, it's so funny that you said you did it as an Italian dinner because my party of 3, they're all playing like believers in the god tier, the paladin, the fighter, and the cleric, and they were all Italian. And they were just arguing constantly the whole campaign. And when I invited them to dinner, I also had Tarek say to them, "Oh, and you're going to bring a dish, aren't you?" And so they're like, "Yeah, we'll bring a dish." And we did a skill challenge for them to invent spaghetti. And it was just so fun. And then bringing the spaghetti, it was so cool. But I was like, okay, you guys have invented spaghetti bolognese, but you get to name it. And so they named it a Fiery Justice Bowl, which is, I think, an unfortunate name to give spaghetti in our canon world. Unfortunate.
Fiery Justice Bowl. Okay. Remember, there's so much more stuff. Owl Bear encounter. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So something I noticed about this module is every encounter that's not with an absolute monster, there is a way to win without killing them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The owl bear has a whistle around its neck that you can seize and then blow. Stuff like that. Which is good because an owl bear is absolutely deadly. Right?
Oh, it'll kill him.
CR3 creature, goodness.
Yeah. I hope you don't have work tomorrow because you are fighting an owl bear tonight.
How did you run this?
I didn't. In both my sessions, I put all the random encounters plus some original ones on a table and I rolled for them. This one never came up. So I've really got to do some thinking about it. But my preliminary thoughts are I would want to signpost it somehow to say that, hey, the kobolds, there's some remnant of like the carnival folk that let this owlbear loose at some point, somewhere on the island. And I would also want to repurpose the whistle a little bit so that if they took it to the harpy fight, the harpy is singing a song, they could blow the whistle to disrupt the song or something like that.
Nice.
I think that would be cute.
I also, beyond just the whistle, I also felt the need to signal the owlbear. Like I had them be able to hear the owlbear coming from a great distance so they could get up in a tree and observe it. We all played Dungeon Mayhem, the D&D themed card game.
Yeah.
And so I described him as having yellow ribbons on his paws, like Hoots Magoots.
Okay, I don't know that reference.
Well, there's a D&D themed card game, and one of the characters you can play is a circus owlbear called Hoots Magoots.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the name of the character. I have played the game once, but I didn't know the name.
And so they figured it out because, this is definitely an encounter I think is made to be thought your way through instead of trying to fight.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, but I will say, especially new players and myself as a new player, if you make me roll for initiative or hint at initiative, I'm gonna fight until dead. I will fight to the death over nothing.
And they would probably die. There's alive. Oh, no,
I am willing to die for so little. You know?
All right. JP Cougar says he loves that part of the adventure. That's why I like the Myconoid stuff. Introduce the players to the idea that fighting isn't always the way. Definitely.
And that's where we're up to now, right? We're looking at the octopus, but I'm going to skip ahead in my imagination a bit. Going off that, JP, I struggled with the structure of that Myconid cave just because it really wanted to highlight the fact that these are hostile creatures, but not aggressive in this moment. But they were doing it in a free-form roleplay kind of way. And I felt that if I was reading that as a new dungeon master, I wouldn't know how to run that without turning it into combat. So the way I did it, and the way I'm suggesting people do it, is run it as a social skill challenge. Being like, guys, we are having a conversation until you fail this many checks, you know? Just so that I can actually put a parameter on combat and communicate to the players what's happening mechanically. But I will say, I will boil anything down to a skill challenge. I love them.
So I'm trying to figure out how I got this, because the players actually start off doing something kind of harmful, right? In order to get into the cave, you have to kill the guardian, right?
Yeah, they kill their mate.
Walk in there, and the Myconids have every reason to dislike you.
Hey, what's going on? I just killed your dog. Oh, nice to meet you.
So going back, Eric G says the group killed the owl bear in Cragmar Castle and snared it outside the tower, drawing it out. It was a pinata after that. Well, Cragmar Castle is a little bit different. I think you're like third level by the time you get there.
Yeah. You can be first level when you fight meet this owlbear. Let's talk about the octopus real quick. I'm guessing you and I did the same thing. Legendary actions?
I did not give it a legendary action. I gave it something different, though, because as it is, it's kind of just a boring stat block.
Yeah.
I said that when it gets to half hit points, it releases a sleep spore or paralyzed spore around it.
Sick. Because this is the best monster in the game. Like, this is the one that I was like, oh my God, it's an undead octopus? I want to punch that. I'll punch that any day of the week. I did a legendary action that was mostly cosmetic, just so that it could grapple someone and then like lift them above its head. So I wanted the fight to be them fighting it and two of the party members are at least wrapped up, flailing around in the air. Just because of the visual.
I like that. So like as a bonus action or as a legendary action that makes an attack and tries to grapple somebody, that's cool.
As a bonus action, it just grapples. So it didn't affect the balance at all. Like I was okay with this being an easy fight, but I at least wanted it to be a scary fight.
I like that. Yeah, this is the coolest monster, but like a stat block is just, all it does is hit things, right? It has like one slam attack and hit points, that's it. Could have been a lot cooler. But they're constrained as the CR1, so I get it.
But still, like, it did teach me something about myself in that I am more interested in like the theme of a monster. Like I care so much more about the theme of monster than any of the stats at all. I actually don't think I care about the stats when it goes to me evaluating whether I'm excited about something.
Yeah, so any new DMs watching this, like here's a tip. The adventure is yours, right? No one's going to want to buy it after you're done with it. Go ahead and mark it up as you see fit.
Yeah. I highlight typos.
All right, so here they are exploring the cave. So I put the NPC card out, and I think that kind of helped them have someone, a myconoid that was willing to communicate like right up front, right? As soon as they fought the violet fungus and the little kids ran away, I think that's something else that's what makes it seem not so threatening is the first things you meet are like the sprouts, right? First myconoids you meet are younglings.
Hey, you got another sex bot, my friend.
Yep. Get out of here, sex bot.
Unless you want to play D&D.
So yeah, I like this. I liked having this was like an exploration scene. There was something I disliked overall. I thought the lore of the last chamber was kind of weird. I didn't quite understand what was going on. I got that there was fumes that were usually there and would get sucked out of the cave. Oh. And for some reason, a big crystal grew, and the crystal's orange, where every other crystal's purple. So it was like was it just a naturally big crystal, or did the fire plane make the crystal big? Like,
option B.
What's going on there.
So that what happened is it is an anachronistic element. It manifested from the fire plane, like in the same way that some people fall into the Feywild. This thing fell from the fire plane into our reality from the draconic influence of Sharuth underneath. So I made sure to describe it as like, look, it's like moving a couch around the corner up the stairs and it gets wedged in a way. It's like, I don't know how we got this here and I don't know how we're going to get it out. That's the crystals should not fit in that space.
Yeah, I got that it sort of just came from something from the fire plane did it. I thought it was kind of weird that the purple crystals were natural and this orange crystal was not, I guess.
Do you think it shouldn't?
Kind of weird, the mixing of the crystals, I thought.
Okay, here's a solution for you.
Yeah.
Would you feel better about it if it wasn't a crystal? Are you confused because you're going like, well, this crystal's natural and this crystal's unnatural? What if it was like, I don't know. What if something else that could appear there to block the thing? What if it was just an egg?
The big obsidian egg that's supposed to be a crystal anyway.
That's a good point. It should just be the egg. And the players are gonna think it's a dragon egg and be really excited about it. I think that's actually a better idea. It should just be a big egg.
So when my players did this, they figured out that the crystal was an egg, and they very carefully unwedged it and then rolled it out of the cave and then put it in the rowboat.
Yeah, okay.
And they found the big cliff. They're like, we're gonna roll us to a big cliff on the island and then break it in the cavern and then just shoot the thing to death.
I think it's really good that there are crystals here. I think that this is like a clever idea because there are crystals elsewhere in the adventure. Like the Bridge of Light at the observatory is made, there's a crystal key or something that goes into it.
Yeah.
So, and randomly at the end of this adventure, Runara says, and here's a key to the thing. I had it the whole time, but whatever. I'm super chill now. Oh, I'm a dragon. Bye. If that's her voice, who knows? So I have changed it when I ran this to say the players know from the get-go that the Bridge of Light is gone, okay? And Runara communicates immediately when they arrive there. It's like, look, there's a blue dragon up there that needs dealing with, but we can't get there because the Bridge of Light is out. If you ever find a crystal or something I could use to craft a new key, please let me know. It'll take me 12 hours to make it, but I just need a crystal. And what I say is if the players go here, they can harvest the crystals. And if the players go to the ship, I have them find a diamond that can be used. So no matter what, at level 1, they're coming back with something that can be used to craft the key.
Perfect. So I like that a lot. I actually like that a whole lot. That's one of the changes. So if we were going, something I was thinking is if you're going with the rogue story, that there really is another Thieves Guild member on the island somewhere whose body has treasure, this would be another good place to put it, right? Like he and the Terror and the Thief used to be buddies here. They used to go to these myconoids, but then the buddy went here looking for some bad poison, and he died. And his body's like underneath in one of these pools, and that's where the treasure is. Something like that.
That's a good idea. I think another good place for it would be the hot springs. I don't know why. I just think that that's like a really kind of lonely location.
Underdeveloped.
I don't think it's underdeveloped. I just think it's like, if we're hiding treasure, I want to put a melancholy feeling to it. And I think you could accomplish that at the hot springs somehow.
I like it. I hear you go back at the Abbey. They they can make their health potions now, have included the Myconoid Cavern.
Mm-hmm.
There's our little hot springs encounter. That was just like a wayward encounter. They had to stop there. So this is, I guess another of the purposes here is to show off that dragons were dead on the island. But I think that is really, really subtle throughout the whole adventure. You really don't get, that doesn't really stick out to the players, at least when I ran it. The idea that there are dead dragons everywhere didn't really come to a head until the very last chapter.
They definitely failed at communicating. What's super strange about this, if you read the module as a dungeon master, it spends like a page and a half trying to tell you how rad all these dead dragons are and the lore, and they had to come and put down this big red baddie. And then the players don't get any of that information for some reason. There's no natural exposition of this lore, and there's no way that makes this lore actually important at all. The way that I adjusted it in my game is I said that as part of Sparkrender's ritual, he has those 5 dragon effigies as written in the module. And part of those effigies, I've said, he needs remains of each of the dragons. So when the players visit any of the locations, what they actually see is the evil kobolds fleeing with the bones, or the Myconids say, well, those kobolds came around and they weren't very polite. They hit our good friend, the pet octopus, and they stole a dragon's tooth straight from this wall. It was a load-bearing tooth. This isn't up to code. And so we know at every instance, okay, the villain's goal is to gather dragon bones from these locations.
I like that a lot. That's an excellent way to tie the whole adventure together, right? That's definitely something this whole thing's missing, is that connective tissue. That's a great way of incorporating it. Eric G suggests you can put the thief's body on the shipwreck as a victim of the harpy. That's another good place to put it. I like that. All right. This encounter almost killed the party. The kobold ambush on the way to the...
We didn't do it. What level were you? 1, 2?
They were level 3, I think, but 3 flying kobolds, and then like 8 normal kobolds. That's a lot of attacks against 3 characters.
Yeah, especially with kobolds. Even if that was goblins, it would be tough. And kobolds with pack tactics, they really benefit from overwhelming numbers, more so than any other stat block.
Yeah. Nasty encounter. But again, there's a way to get out of it, right? Like if you give them food, the kobolds will flee. So I went out of my way to try to describe them how, emaciated they were, how they're trying to say they wanted to eat the characters. But again, they just went right over the player's head and the players wanted to smash.
Dude, now, here's a question. In the town, Mila, the winged kobold, she has 2 brothers, Mech and Min, 2 other winged kobolds. Did you put them here or not?
No, I put them on the regular island. And that's another thing that you would think that Milo would spend a lot of time talking about her brothers to the player characters. That'd be on her mind a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's something, again, that doesn't say anywhere in the adventure. That's something like a dungeon master has sort of like invent on their own. I wish I had put that in there. So
I did
think about it.
Yeah, I lent into that the second time I ran it, and I foreshadowed it in like the stupidest way, where like I even said to Milo says to the party, it's like, oh yeah, I've got two brothers. They turned out pretty bad. I should have known. All the warning signs were there. The players go, oh, what were the warning signs? Like, they've got British accents. And then when the party finally meet these people, the first thing they hear is like, blimey, here we are. We're flying around. We are. Just do this crap British accent. They're like, no, it's the evil kobolds. It was the lamest gag, but I just really enjoyed it.
So I said that Mila still had some specks of blue paint all over her when they found her at the Abbey.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
And then at one of the dinners, like one of the other members of the Abbey upset her by mentioning like her brothers, right? She like had stormed off crying.
Yeah.
I also described her wings being torn, and the players eventually asked what happened and said that, I got attacked by these kobolds before I came here, or these sturgeons before I came here. So again, she knows the location of the observatory. Mila knows a whole lot, and she's just not supposed to say, I guess, because Rhaenyra told her to.
Did you hide the location of the observatory? Like, when did you mark these locations on the map for the players? Like, did you gate the location of the observatory? Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
Had they taken the route to sail past the observatory, I would have marked it on the map for them, on the location of one of the smaller dungeons. But I didn't start off by saying, okay, here's an observatory on this island.
Okay. I literally, within the first half hour, I'd marked every location on their map. Partly because I reflavored the observatory as a lighthouse, and the light was the bridge.
Ooh, I like that. A lighthouse makes a lot of sense. I kept the observatory because we'd never done an adventure at an observatory before, and that was kind of interesting. I've done a couple of lighthouse adventures.
Lighthouse adventures, dime a dozen, am I right?
Yeah,
Can't get rid of them.
So I think after...
Wait, can I make a quick joke? Wait.
Go for it.
Lighthouses and dragons. Okay, that's the end of my joke.
Okay, so the library in the Abbey is another really useful feature for Dungeon Masters, right? You can stock all your lore from the adventure into that freaking library. And I think that's where I put the observatory. I think I put like a log from like star things there in that library, and that's how the players found out there was an observatory. Like, then the next day they got the mission to go there.
Yeah, okay. We had one of my players research some stuff at the library, but he rolled a 1. And he was researching, like, why are the Myconids sick? That's what he wanted to know. and he rolled a 1. I said, okay, I want you to roll this dice, and it was like a Rory story cube that has a bunch of symbols on it, and he rolled a dragonfly, and then in his notes, I saw the player just write down, bugs? Question mark? It was fun.
All right, so there's Mech and Men. The way this played out for me, actually, I really like this, right? I like how when you arrive on the observatory, you see these kobolds who are kind of antagonistic, but you're also sympathetic towards, right? Like you like their sister and they're in danger, right? It gives the players an opportunity to be heroic and not just kill the kobolds. I thought that was a really good setup.
Okay. This is just another symptom of my bias in that I don't like ambiguous situations. If we're in a combat encounter, I want to know there's a combat encounter. If we're in a social encounter, I want to know it's a social encounter. And I don't enjoy, as a player or a dungeon master, the conversation of trying to work out what are we going to do in this situation. I don't know why. I just don't like that energy. But at this point in the campaign, the players had already met Mech and Min a few times, established themselves as like bumbling sidekicks.
Who were stealing the dragon bones, right?
Stealing the dragon bones. And at this point, this was actually their opportunity to have their final confrontation with them. I gave them a whip. They were Sturge tamers, and they sent the Sturges flying at them. They'd also stolen one of Myla's inventions, because she's a tinkerer, right? They'd stolen one of Myla's inventions, and I gave them the combined stat block of a kobold tinkerer, and they were like shooting a flamethrower at them.
Oh man, I like that. That's a cool setup. So, I might steal the idea of them being like the minions stealing dragon bones throughout the whole time. But I might still try to keep the fact that they can work with the players. So the way it played out was after the party rescued them, one of the characters convinced the kobolds to take him to the blue dragon so he could join their cult. He's like, wow, you guys are going to turn this blue dragon into something super powerful. I want to be a part of that. Show me him. I thought that was really kind of funny. And if you turn the kobolds into like straight enemies, you don't get that opportunity. You don't really need an NPC guide for this part of the adventure.
No.
It certainly was helpful.
Yeah, you don't. You don't need it. There are two ways to encounter the villain. The first way to encounter the villain is if you get there early, then you arrive while Sparkrander is asleep, and you can do whatever you want. Like get your surprise round or whatever. But if you arrive there late, or you fight Sparkrander, retreat and come back, then he starts the ritual. Did you do the ritual fight, or did you do the caught him slipping?
Well, I don't think I ever really want to do the catch him sleeping thing, because I think it'd be really, really anticlimactic, right? Everybody just crits on the dragon and just ends the adventure.
Yes, that's what happened. Yes, correct.
I mean, did he come back as a Draco Lich when the star passed overhead?
No, we all had beers, and that was the end of it.
So what actually happened when I ran it, right, is the player character convinced Mech and Min that he was going to join their cult. It's like, oh man, I want to be a part of this. Show me this blue dragon. And so they showed him up there, and he woke up the dragon.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, so eventually we had the fight.
I ran both. And I can say that the ritual fight is really satisfying. The mechanics around it are really cool. It's a good boss battle. And I would advocate... Do you know what's super fun? Is I ran this adventure twice. The first time, the players got him sleeping and they smashed him. And when we got to the second time, I said to the players, hey guys, I just want to let you know you are making great time. And if you go to the observatory right now, you will probably get the jump on this dragon and you'll probably be successful. But I want to let you know I ran that same situation last night and it wasn't a great boss fight. So I want to let you know that you have succeeded. You've done a great job and I'm super proud of you all for accomplishing this. But if you guys want a fun challenge and some good drama, let's do the version where you guys are up against the ropes. And they're all like, yeah, great, let's do it. And then so we did the ritual fight, even though that wasn't necessarily what was going to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of on JB Cooper's side. This last part is kind of weird. There's a lot of things that then go sideways and don't make a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the blue dragon can rush the ritual, but the star is going to go overhead exactly when you need it to, unless you're doing a countdown like your suggestion, which I think is kind of cool. There's no the puzzle to figure out the moving the statues around, that's kind of hard.
Don't get me started. Oh, that puzzle, mate. So, because it's just a roll. It says, like, it is roll above a 12 or something. You did it? Oh, congratulations. You win.
Yeah, and then you can have to move the statues without waking the dragon, which is just, again, like a series of rolls. I don't know.
Do you know what? Now that when we're talking about this, you can see what they were trying to evoke. They wanted Bilbo sneaking past Smog. What's Benedict Cumberbatch? What's his name?
Smaug.
Smaug. That's one of those. I've never said that word out loud. They wanted that fantasy, but it turns out that fantasies. If Bilbo were a murder hobo, that wouldn't be interesting, right?
Yeah. And there's the whole other dragon that's downstairs, which is an equal challenge for this one. Is you free Lord Adrian? It's sort of, I don't know. The way it actually played out when I did it, it was a lot of fun, right? I massaged the situation enough so they got to fight the dragon while the ritual was going on, and this bronze dragon was trying to help, but not really. It worked out pretty well. But I can really see this going sideways for new DMs pretty easily.
I had in my party of 3, the paladin landed the only player's crit on this dragon in the first round of combat and chunked like 30 points of its health with a smite. And it only has like 52 hit points. I was like, It's looking rough. Like first round, it's looking rough, guys.
Yeah, it was like a 2-round fight. I do think the Blue Dragon Wormling might be a bit weak for a boss, especially for like party 3rd level characters. But there's no other
in the ritual
that really works.
In the ritual, it was so cool. I want to tell you how I did this because this is super sick. I told you I had the players encounter the Sturges and Mech and Min out the gate as like a mini boss encounter. Mm-hmm. At that point, that's when I set the timer. I set it to 10. I set it in front of them. Guys, the ritual will be complete in 10 rounds. Good luck. So they had to do that first fight, and then they had to do the dragon fight, and the counter was the same between them. And anything that escaped from that first fight into the lighthouse, into the observatory, would be a part of that second fight. Having the lair action kind of random ritual rolling thing, sometimes helpful, sometimes not helpful. That was really interesting. The breath weapon was brutal, especially having the players strategically on the map. Tactically, they're filing across a 60-foot bridge. Oh, do you know what shape a 60-foot bridge is? It's a line. So I got to nearly kill 2 players in that fight when I did the ritual version with a party of 5. And I think I tweaked it to be a little bit too hard in some areas, but it was a genuinely fun fight. Probably my favorite, one of my favorite concluding combats to a module so far.
It was definitely satisfying. I liked doing it. The fight was short. I think it only lasted like 2.5 rounds because they got the dragon. The ritual part was really cool. I did like the random element.
You did the ritual as well?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh, cool,
I had the ritual in there. Like it was going on. I wasn't gonna sacrifice that. So yeah, they woke up the dragon and started the ritual while they freed Adrian, and then it all came to a head together, right? Yeah,
that's good. Now, did your players know who Lord Adrian was, or not?
They learned about it at the Abbey the night before, that there was a dragon there, and when they found him, I said he was only like 1 hit point. It was gonna be no real use in a fight.
Okay.
I had him taking on like the other kobolds, right? Like narratively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that stuff. I'm glad you do that as well. Because you feel bad. It's like this dragon wasn't even helping us. You can go, oh no, yeah, he was. I just didn't want to slow down combat.
Yeah.
The way I did.
There's something that I definitely would do. I definitely would put in like some real consequences for failing the ritual. If I would do this again, I would maybe make disturbing the ritual a possibility, because in the module's written, it just like messes with his head for a second, which I think is actually kind of cool. But if we're gonna make the ritual matter, then I make the messing with the ritual actually matter too.
How do you feel about
maybe boost his stat block a little bit, make him a little bit tougher? How
do you feel about the idea of the ritual failing? Because we're waiting for this equinox when the Kingkiller Star is at its summit or whatever. That's the moment when the ritual can succeed. But if he's trying to do it early or something, do you think there should be a roll from this character to see if his ritual is successful or not?
What? Well, what I would do is have it like half succeed, right? Instead of coming back as a Draco Lich, he comes back as like a mini Draco Lich or something like that.
As Draco Malfoy.
Yeah. You get a lesser version of the Fool thing. He gets a partial success in his transformation. Something like that.
What voice did you do for Lord Adron? The
I
Bronze
don't
Dragon.
do voices.
Oh, really? I was absolutely Sean Connery. I was going, thank you for rescuing me. I've been down in that hole for so long. You can call me Draco.
You're gonna call me Draco.
Don't call me Draco.
All right, and I think that's my last picture here. So overall, what are your thoughts on the adventure? Like 1 out of 5 stars. What are you excited?
Look, I'm going to be an absolute knob and dodge the question by saying, I think all modules suck. They're all crap. None of them I would use. None of them are like telling me what to do in a good way. But the juice is looking at them and go, this sucks. I'm going to do a better job than this book is telling me. And in that regard, I think this book is good because it's so short that it leaves enough gaps for you to really see the space to fit your own ideas and fit your own game. There's so few components that there's fewer consequences to moving them around. Like comparing this obnoxiously to Lost Minds of Phandelver, I think this is easier to change. And I think any module that you change is automatically better. So let me say, I'm not going to give it a rating out of 5, but I will say that I like it.
I like it. That's a very good answer. JP said, sounds like you both really love adjusting, coming up with your own stories. Either of you run your own non-WotC adventures. I do run some of my own adventure, right? I usually like buy a module, read through it, and then like just take chunks and stick them all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just ran start of Night's Dark Terror, and I just stuck the Hidden Strive to Mochan on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And now we're gonna stick on Red-Handed Doom onto the other end.
That's cool. I like that, chaining that stuff together. For me personally, JP, if it weren't for me having a YouTube channel and being financially dependent on talking about modules, I probably wouldn't run them. I would still read them because I do layout work professionally and I like looking at the designs that people do. I would do homebrew exclusively if it weren't for the YouTube channel. Because I just love it. You can get so much cool stuff done. Like all the wackiest fun I've ever had has been like a harebrained homebrew idea where it's like, all right, party, you're all skeletons and it's Halloween and you have to go collect scares from the local village.
Sounds awesome. I love that.
It was awesome. Like, yeah, homebrew is where it's at. And in fact, here's what I would encourage as well as far as new Dungeon Masters go. Yes, do the Lost Minds of Phandelver or do Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Make a bunch of mistakes, forgive yourself, have fun with your friends. But then after that, take another risk. Do like a short form 4-session homebrew campaign, new characters, and you will learn a whole different skill set that marries very well with modules. And if you run a module after having done that initial starter set, after having done that homebrew campaign, you're going to see so many more ways to customize the next module, and you'll become a better dungeon master, I reckon.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. All right. Well, I think that's about ends our allotted time. Dude, thank you so much for joining me and talking through this adventure. I really like it. I really liked having someone to chew the fat on with it. So thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm happy to do this again as well. Can I plug my stuff? Can I? Oh,
absolutely. Plug away.
Okay. Hey, you can find me everywhere at Hey It's Maddie P. And at the moment, I am publishing videos about this module. I had one come out today, and it is currently flopping. So do me a favor and go check it out. It's pretty helpful. JP, it was lovely talking to you. I saw a couple of familiar faces here today as well. Starshine Windlord, Nacho, Eric G. It's been a pleasure having you all there in chat. I'm sorry I couldn't respond as we were going.
I watched his video today. I enjoyed it. Link to the channel in the description. If you have some thoughts on Stormwreck Isle, yo, please let me know. I'm happy to talk about the stuff. So let me know in the comments below.
Oh, is that the end? No.
Yeah.
Yes? Are we still streaming?